Mack Maine is heartbroken, absolutely crushed. The weight of the world now rests on his chest in a way he never could have imagined. And nothing about life feels normal anymore. On July 16th, at a quiet home in California, a tragedy struck that would shatter his world and steal his peace. His beloved son, Isaiah affectionately called, Zeke, passed away unexpectedly following a seizure. It happened so fast. Too fast. 1 minute, everything was fine. The next, everything was gone. There's no preparing for something like this. No manual, no guidance, no wisdom from elders that can lessen the blow. He's still in shock, dazed in a kind of fog that only grief this deep can cause. Every time he closes his eyes, he expects to wake up from a nightmare. But it isn't a dream, it's real. And it cuts deeper than words could ever reach. He's still processing the loss, barely able to say the words out loud. My son is gone. Each time it hits, it steals his breath away. The pain isn't just emotional, it's physical. It radiates through his body like a cold wave of emptiness, leaving behind only questions that have no answers. Why him? Why now? Why his baby boy? Isaiah was just 20 years old. A young man with dreams, with fire in his heart and goodness in his soul. He wasn't supposed to go first. Parents are supposed to outlive their children. That's how it's supposed to work. But life didn't care about that unspoken rule. Life flipped the script, and now Mack Maine finds himself sitting in the ruins of a future that will never be. Every plan they made, every laugh they shared, every small moment taken for granted now, replaying endlessly in his mind like an old film reel. He's questioning everything. Life, fate, God, himself. It doesn't feel fair. It doesn't make sense. He never imagined celebrating his birthday like this, haunted by silence instead of filled with joy. July was once a month that brought smiles, phone calls from family, candles on a cake, maybe a night out with old friends. Now, it's a month that marks a double loss. Because it's also the day his own father passed away, just 2 years earlier. 2 massive holes in his heart, one shaped like a father, the other like a son. He's sandwiched between loss, stuck between memories and mourning, and trying to survive each passing minute. What does a father do when the thing that gave him purpose disappears? He thinks back to the very first time he held Zeke in his arms. That tiny bundle of life, so fragile and new, made him feel a kind of love he never knew he was capable of. Becoming a father didn't just change him, it saved him. It grounded him, it forced him to grow, to rise to the occasion, to become the kind of man he wanted his son to look up to. Fatherhood wasn't a task, it was a gift. One of the greatest gifts he's ever received. And Zeke gave him that. Zeke made him a dad. And it was in that role as dad that Mack Maine found his truest identity. Every decision, every move he made, had Zeke in mind. He was the reason he got up in the morning, the reason he stayed focused when the world tried to distract him. Through every success, every struggle, Zeke was his anchor. He gave him strength, even when he didn't know it. Just the thought of his son's smile had the power to brighten the darkest day. That wasn't just a poetic line, it was the truth. Now, the silence in the house is deafening. The absence is loud. There are no footsteps down the hall. No spontaneous texts or FaceTimes. No more I love you pops before bedtime. Every corner of the home reminds him of what once was. The hoodie left on the chair, the worn-out sneakers by the door, the favorite cereal in the cabinet that won't be eaten. These small details have become sacred. They're all that's left to hold on to, and letting go of even one feels like losing Zeke all over again. It's a pain unlike any other. Mack says it without hesitation. This is a kind of heartbreak he's never felt before. Not even close. It's raw, it's sharp, and it has no timeline. Grief doesn't move in a straight line. It circles, it dives, it disappears, and returns without warning. One moment he's numb, the next he's breaking down, sobbing in his car in the middle of the night. There's no handbook for this. No one teaches you how to bury your child. But even in his shattered state, Mack found the strength to speak about it publicly. Not for pity, not for attention, but to honor his son, to show the world the kind of person Zeke was. Kind-hearted, gentle, full of innocence and purity. The kind of person who made you want to be better just by being near him. He had a way of making people feel seen, valued, important. His presence wasn't loud, but it was powerful. He carried a softness that made the world feel a little safer, a little warmer. Family members are reeling. The grief has consumed everyone who loved Zeke. His mother is inconsolable. His friends are stunned, struggling to understand how someone so full of life could be gone so suddenly. His younger cousins ask questions no one knows how to answer. Even the family dog keeps looking at the door, waiting for Zeke to come home. Mack has spent sleepless nights holding his loved ones close, trying to be strong for them while secretly feeling like he's crumbling inside. He thinks back to the small moments now. The time they danced in the kitchen to old school records, the road trip they took when Zeke was 12, just the two of them, talking about life and music and dreams. The way Zeke would laugh at his dad's old jokes, pretending not to find them funny, but laughing anyway. The way he hugged, the way he loved, the way he listened. There are days when Mack can still hear his voice. Days when he feels Zeke's spirit close. Maybe it's a song on the radio. Maybe it's the way the sunlight hits the window at just the right angle. Grief is strange, like that tit leaves behind ghosts. Not to scare you, but to remind you of what mattered. And what mattered most to Mack Maine was being Zeke's father. He thinks about how proud he was of the young man Zeke was becoming. So full of potential, so driven. He was just starting to explore his passions, figuring out who he was and what he wanted from life. He talked about music, about starting his own business, about making a difference. He had so many plans, and now, those plans are frozen in time, unfinished. The hip-hop community has rallied around Mack in his time of loss. Artists, producers, friends, everyone reaching out with words of support, with prayers, with stories about Zeke. The love has been overwhelming, but even surrounded by people, there are moments when Mack feels utterly alone, because no one, not even the closest friend, can fully grasp the depth of what he's feeling. He has good days and bad days. Days when he feels strong, like maybe he can find a way forward, and days when the grief hits so hard, it knocks the wind out of him. Some mornings, he still forgets for a second. Just a second. And then the reality comes crashing back. He's learning how to navigate a world without his son, but it's not easy. Every move forward feels like a betrayal, like he's leaving Zeke behind, but he knows Zeke would want him to keep going, to live fully, to love deeply, to give more than he takes. He writes letters to his son, long ones, late at night, pouring his heart out onto paper, even though he knows Zeke won't read them. It helps him feel close. It helps him survive. Sometimes, he plays old voicemails, just to hear Zeke's voice again, just to remember. He's started doing something new every time he meets someone. He tells them to hold their loved ones tighter. Not just in passing. He looks them in the eye and says, tell them you love them today, right now, because tomorrow is never promised. That's not just a saying anymore. It's a reality that lives in his bones. Zeke's death changed him. It softened some parts and hardened others. It forced him to reevaluate everything. What matters? What doesn't? He's not interested in small talk anymore. He wants depth. He wants truth. He wants connection.